Everyone, I wanted to give you a quick demonstration about the current state of the APX project. So for this, I already booted up the web application. So we can go into the server view, for example. What I can do here is to create a new server from scratch. That means that APX will take care of the Steam downloads, Steam CMD installation, and the initial bootstrapping of the server. Also, it will handle the keys, which will be important later to use one of the paid content, for example. What APX will also do, it will check if ports are available, and if the default ports are not available, it will choose a new port from a defined range. So you get a fully installed and configured server, and additionally to that, you can also get the firewall settings generated for you, which I can show you later. So what it's doing now, it's downloading all the components, Steam and stuff like that, and if we refresh the page, you will see that it will be doing this receiver bootstrap, which is basically a lot of downloading. While this is doing its stuff, I can show you a bit about the component configuration. Each content like tracks and vehicles in rFactor are basically components, and the APX project has a lot of them already mapped, so you can basically just use them. So if we go for an event, which is basically a combination from vehicles and a track, we can, for example, go to the F321, which is basically just a configuration that we say we want a Silverstone and national layout and the latest tattoos car. So we can just select the cars we want, and we can just use them. We don't need to copy files around or upload files to a server. Everything will be taken care by APX. What we also can do at this point is to configure some stuff, for example, a welcome message, damage multiplier, and a lot of server settings, which are basically the same from the server setup wizard you're basically clicking through, but just with a web interface to manage from the outside. Server is still doing its stuff, so I can show you a bit about the session configuration. An event consists out of multiple sessions. So for example, I have a demo event with a race session, so you configure the start, the laps, or the length, which is an exclusive stuff, so you can either set laps or length, not both at once. And what is also possible to configure the grip here, so you upload basically the file and it gets collected by APX on deployment. So in the meantime, the server already updated itself to the state where it's ready for deployment, so we can just select the name. We will see that a lot of ports are assigned now. So we can select the event, for example, the Formula 3 one, and just select update config and redeploy. And what we can now do is press save. And if we refresh the page again, might take some time. Not yet fully running, but now you can see that the update starts working. So what it's now doing, it's trying to restore the server to a vanilla state, which means that it gets rid of some log files and shit of other previous installed mods. And in the next steps is we're doing the workshop installation, so it will automatically take the workshop items to download from, install them, configure the mod, and after that you can just select start and you're done. This state field will always represent the current state or the current action which is currently executed. So at the moment installing a workshop item, which is, I guess, Spa, no, not Spa, Silverstone, as we selected it previously. Depending on the network connection, it might take some time for the download, as the mods itself might be around a gigabyte or so. Meanwhile, I can show you a different point. Is the fact that you can configure entries. An entry is basically a car with a team name and a number, which you can upload files to in this entry files point. So we can basically just, for example, add the delivery file and assign it to an entry. And if you want, APX can build the delivery updates at the server update itself, so you don't have to create the delivery files manually. You can just basically tell APX to use this entry in this event I showed you previously, and yeah, it will collect the skins, build delivery pack, and install the delivery pack. The advantage of having all the update stuff in a single solution is the point that the results of the outcome of the update process are always predictable. So you don't have to factor that you forgot a dot or some chars in a file or did a typo in a file. This stuff can't happen here because each build follows the same steps, and you get a log file out of each deployment, which means then you have clear representation what was done on the server and what was not done on the server. Now you can see it's completed the download. It's now installing the track. That is the last step of the content installation. So if it's done, you will see it will do a bunch of other operations, most likely the adjustment of the session length and start times. As you can see now, after I refresh the page, you can see that stage changed. It's now adapting the length and start of the sessions we requested. And now you can see that the deployment finished. What you now can do is we can switch into the server, select the action start, and then we can save. During the moment it will start up, which might take some time. But we refresh this page a bunch of times, we can see that the status info field will soon switch from ready for deployment to server is running. As it's happened now. And also you can see at the bottom of the server information the mentioned log file, where you can see that it did a bunch of installations from Steam, installed something from the mod manager, and did some extractions on the GDB files for weather injection, which is not yet fully finished, but at least it's a base implementation at the moment. Also, you can see that the installation of the mod was successful, and at the end, the most important message is that the server deploys has finished. Yeah, on that, after deployment, you basically have a fully working, fully deployed rFactor server. And if, for example, if I add some bots to the machine and I refresh this page, you also see the currently connected client. In this case, it's bots, so you don't have a Steam CMD because it's a bot. What you can also do is, for example, add a chat. For example, I can just select my server and say hello to my APX powered server, and you can press the save. And meanwhile on the server, we will see this message appearing. You can also use this for whispering, adjusting penalties. It's basically your web representation of this text box in the server window. What you can also do is to adjust the, for example, if you have to do an update for a track, you can also add track files. This one is not correct, but we can just ignore it. And the track files gets added also automatically, so you don't have to handle these by hand. You just select them and tell APX that it will be using this, which you can do if you go to the components. For example, I want to do an update for, let's guess, the Silverstone. And I just select do update here. And if do update is checked, it will collect each file connected to Silverstone itself. So it will be added on deployment. And as I mentioned earlier, you don't have to interact with the server itself. It does everything in the background, so you don't have to upload files per remote desktop or something like that. So we just upload the files into the web view, configure your update, and add it to your event. And the core principle of the project is that you define events as a track and vehicle combination, and you can reuse this configuration. So for example, if you have an event or you're hosting an event and you are doing multiple servers for several divisions, or you do a test server or practice server, you configure that once, and after that you basically deploy this event configuration on multiple servers at once, so you don't have to work with them directly and update them by hand. Another point is, if, for example, the studio releases an update, you don't have to do anything on the server itself. What you can do is you stop the machine just with selecting the stop action. The server will get a message that it will be shutting down, and after that it will be closed. And what you can do is just to press update config and redeploy and check this update on build. Then it will update the server as well. Or like when we take the reverse example, you have to stick to a certain branch because, for example, you need, from some reasons, the old UI. Then you can select the branch and just select the branch you want, for example, old UI. And as long as the update on build is checked, we'll represent this on deployment, so it will switch to the branch you requested. Another point is, if you want to use the paid content, you can download the server keys from here, unlock it according to the manual of the studio, and then you can just upload the server unlock key in the website. It will be uploaded automatically, so you don't have to do any additional steps. You just save and it will do the work for you. And yeah, that's basically the current state. Feel free to ask me some questions if you have some, and thanks for watching.